What's good with the YouTube? You already know Convicts Perspective with Big Flacco, Toko. We're gonna smash, dash, and slide on through. A little bit of energy, man. How you doing, Toko?
I'm doing pretty good, brother. How about yourself, man? It's been a
You
minute.
know, I just got back from the pumpkin patch, man. Was real busy. Had a good time though.
The pumpkin patch.
Yeah, the pumpkin
Yeah.
patch. It was dope. It was pretty dope. So me and you were discussing a topic, man, and we were talking about something like, man, that may be a good topic, and it was about the how people generalize pretty much the images that they want to put up on people at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll let you start off.
Well, first off, thanks for letting me come back on, man. It's been a minute. Uh, been busy. Sometimes life shows up, man, and sometimes you barely got enough time to get groceries. You know what I'm saying? But all that being
Yeah.
aside, it's good to be back. It's good to see you, man. And yeah, we talk about a lot of things offline, and just like you and I talk about all the time, what's appropriate and what's not. Um, a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't get to see, the subscribers or fans or whatever they want to call it. I like to think of them as supporters, right? They and this includes myself, especially in the beginning. You can ride the curtails of what people say, and if their palabra is good, right? If they got that gift of gab, if they know what they're talking about and they're charismatic about doing it, or they're funny, or they're serious, or whatever their channel, whatever their genre is, right? Specifically talking about this one, um, how they conduct and how they carry themselves, man. People gravitate towards that, right? And they tend to get, and this happens whether you're active, whether you're non-active, or whether you politic or whether you don't. It happens in life, man. Somebody has a lot of information, and somebody speaks with, superior intellect, as they like to call it, right? And has their information word for word, people are going to gravitate towards that. And they misconstrue that as being who these people really are. For one, it's YouTube. Okay. We're not characters. We really are who we are. But in a lot of people's eyes, we are. You know what I mean? But then again, opinions and things of that nature and that likeness, man, they don't affect me and mine's. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
with certain subscribers, I notice, certain people, you hear about it all the time. I talk to a lot of other channels, you know what I mean? And you and I talk offline, certain people fall in and then they fall off. And that's their choice. For whatever reasons, they like to do it. But, a lot of us, we're at different levels of the game without getting too deep into it, right? You know what I mean? Much higher
Yeah.
than on a street level, and I'll and getting caught up in the politics and so on and so forth. It tends to change you as a person. You view things differently. What was once important to you is now, and I just say it like this, man. Troubles, God rest his soul, and a couple other cats from Salas that brought me up in the mix, right? When I was in the joint and in the shoe, said basically what our plight was you got to get rid of that singular mentality. You know what I mean? The needs of the many always outweigh the needs of the few or the one. You know what I mean? You got to think about the greater good of everything that you do, whether you say it, how you conduct and how you carry yourself. And sometimes you can get lost into that, right? And I think that's what a lot of subscribers they see is and there's nothing wrong with it. People are allowed to have their opinions. Hey, man, God bless them, right? That's what this platform is for. You got to have thick skin on one sense, but at the same time, there's always a fine line between having thin skin and the flagrant disrespect, especially when people speak on things that they have no knowledge of.
They don't know about.
Especially, yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And this is not taking shots at anybody. Anybody that knows me, man, I keep it real, and I come from right here, like I always did. Regardless of how you feel or whatever, man. This ain't a spill about that. It's a spill about real life, and it's a spill that you should take everything with a grain of salt, but you shouldn't judge the character of a man or a woman based on their emotions and what happens on YouTube. the subscribers and everybody else that goes back. You look at from Paradigm Media News all the way through the genre, man. There's heated conversations, there's heated spills, there's heated lives. And sometimes, man, you know, you can get judged, persecuted, and hung for it, right? Just by things that you say. Because people, and like I said, I'm speaking generally with general knowledge, right? And educated, and then, you know what I mean? And education to the utmost when I say this to everybody. This is not a dig at any men or, you know, men or women, but just like they're always making comments, right? What's the main comment? We don't know who you really are. Well, we don't know who the fuck you are either. You know what I mean? Half the people don't put pictures up. Half the people, you know, you don't know if it's a man, if it's a woman, if it's law enforcement,
if it's another channel, you don't know. Like there's so many games that be played about sometimes that you never know.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And there ain't nothing wrong with that because, like, it goes back to the same narrative, man. It's YouTube. And if you're gonna feel a certain type of way from someone who don't know you, who's probably thousands or hundreds of miles away, sitting somewhere, they're using this for entertainment and they're using this platform to get whatever they got to get off their chest, subscriber or other channel or whatever the case may be, right? And for me, it's why I lay low, man. You know what I mean? I don't unless I'm spoken about or spoken upon. You know, I mean, in a good way. You know, people, like I said, people can say what they want. They leave comments, and you know, some of the people on my IG say, "Hey, man, you know, what about this? What about that?" And I don't think they intentionally do it to bait, but I always take it that way. Speaking for myself, that hey, every time. Even when I was active, anytime a sentence started with, "Hey, homie, did you hear?" Well, I heard. It never ends well.
Yeah, bro.
Starts with that. Because it's all frivolous action, and these people, the supporters or whoever is watching, right? And they pride themselves on the knowledge of what they know, or hey, I was part of the game too, or I was this or I was that. Doesn't matter where you're from. All I'm saying is, if that was really true, then there's a certain code of conduct. You know what I mean? That you know, you don't ever believe anything from the words of "I heard" or "Did you hear?" They're saying this about you, or they're X, Y, and Z, or you ain't about this, you ain't about that. What are we in third grade? That shit would get you whacked, and that shit would get you your trust and your credibility. You talk about credit. You and I talked about credibility offline. When you do things like that, when you spread vicious gossip and rumors, man, you know, I don't know about anybody else's prior to what they're involved in, but the things that I was involved in, like Toko was, man, there were certain rules and regulations that you had to live by. People frown, "Oh, you're listening to another man." Look, all that stuff was our choice at the end of the day, right? Therefore, whatever comes with that came with that, right? Choices were made, it's done, it's over with, it's written in history forever. End of story. Yeah. You could debate it, you could say you could do this, you could do that, but you know, it's the proof in the pudding. And this all ties back to, you know, the support that you get here on YouTube, right? And you say one thing that someone thinks is out of pocket, or they hear what they want to hear, right?
They hear what they want to hear a lot of times, man. Or they don't look at the whole case. I've had a couple people do that to me, bro. Like dudes that don't even know me. Like all of a sudden they were cool with me in the beginning, but because of either a certain dispute or they caught the second half of something, you know, man, it's like I'm thinking in my head, like, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck do you think you are? You know, I mean, I had one of those comments today, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know nothing about me, man, to even be even fucking like, and they're not even from even I don't even think that they're even from this fucking country, to be honest with you, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's just ridiculous how, like, you know, without doing your proper investigation, right, into anything, right? You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, if you really had those resources, little things, you'll come to term that things are actually what they are. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Hi, babe.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you know, for me, it just boils down to one thing: sticks and stones, bro. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it, like I said, this is not putting anybody down, or I don't even know why I say that, because people are going to take it how they want to take it. And the reason why I'm so adamant about this, man, is that if you're watching, hey, watch. If you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. But to sit there and persecute somebody, it's just not my stilo. There's a lot of things that a lot of people don't know that go on behind the scenes, and you got to remember when it comes to Flacco and a lot of these other YouTube channels or people that he does these spills with, and this and that, and this is not sticking up for him or riding his curtails. This is just, you know what I mean? I've known the dude for years, you know what I mean? And the last couple of years, he's been solid with me. He hasn't given me anything for me to say that. This is just anybody that knows me, you know, and there's a few people that do watch because they do comment. They know me from my days, right? They know this is who I am, regardless if I'm active or if I'm not. To me, today, I'm just Toko today, you know, and I call it like I see it. A lot of the times I'm wrong. A lot of the times I'm right, but it ain't about that. You know, when I let that life go, and when I say I could give a shit about what's going on right now on the streets and on the inside, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I mean it in a way was when I let it go, when I was done, and when I was pushed out, it was a wrap. You know, I have to live with the choices that I've made, and people have to live with the choices that they made. You know, and if I continue on, all it does is fuck me up. All it does is hurt me and keep me away from my family, keep me from making money, and keep me in that box. You got a lot of other DOs or a lot of inactives or actives are in, man, because what you say and do can affect me and mine if I allow it. Now, I'm not saying I'm the biggest, baddest, strongest, but you got to remember the places that I come from, the same places that Flacco came from. Isolation, lockdown for 23 hours a day. Yeah, there was no motherfucking shower. You didn't read your mail on the screen. That was all bullshit. You know what I mean? Yeah. But still, you're isolated, and you're only around where you gotta smell. You hear the set of keys to know what time it is. I mean, you know, and people don't talk about those things, man. And all that shit, whether you're strong-minded or not, when you get back out into the free world and you get on YouTube, all that stuff affects. So sometimes people could say things, and like I said, you know, call it what you want to, being up in your feelings or just having the dignity and grace. I'm not disrespecting the next man or next woman, because at the end of the day, nobody knows what you go through. Nobody knows what I go through. Whole boxer, gunner, L, Dubs. You know what I mean? All they see is this, right? They're going to see this recording. They don't know what goes on.
There's more behind. There's more behind the scenes. If there's more behind the scenes that if people knew, they probably would have a whole different opinion on a lot of matters, man. But
sure,
that's neither here nor there.
Because everything
this is one thing like that I get, man. I get not everything's for YouTube, even though other people want to make it about YouTube. Or sometimes other people want to sit there. There's a lot of backdoor politics. There's a lot of gossiping. There's a lot of fucking false rumors. There's a lot of confrontations where people deny this, and then, you know, if I want to, I could drop a fucking bomb on a lot of shit, but I'm not that person, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'd rather move forward. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, just this is like you said before. Don't take everything at like a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? Because not everything is always what people perceive it to be, and sometimes, like, you know what I mean, like you were talking, we're like, man, some people have been and this goes into any genre. They're bestowed an image that's not the truth by their own viewers. You pointed that out to me. He goes, people will think that this person is this, and it's like, you know what I mean? And when they're not, you know what I'm saying? Right. It's a whole different. And then those that have more the past experience or more involved, they're not being given the same recognition at times, which it is what it is, man. That's created by the viewers, like you said. You know what I'm saying? The viewers are going to create whatever they want in the person that they view. And a lot of that has to do with a personal attachment, a personal liking of their characteristics. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes that's when people have their fucking blindfolds on. They can't see the whole picture. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then you know, you got to sit there and really evaluate, you know, things that are how they're presented too as well. You know what I'm saying? Because you can only get by for so long ducking and dodging in the shadows and putting out fucking a false presentation of something, or, you know what I mean? And that goes for anybody. You can only go so far to where it's finally going to get revealed. And that just goes to anything. And this is we're not even talking about anybody in particular. We're just talking in general from the things that we've seen or experienced. YouTube stuff, like someone put a comment right now, like, you're getting negative. I'm like, well, what's there to be positive about? My positive stuff I do behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times. It's hard to be positive in this YouTube genre because there's so much fucking negativity behind it. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, the
just like the
Men
subscribers,
podcast, we do
just like the subscribers have the right to their opinions. So do the YouTube channels creators, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You know what I mean? And you gotta pick and choose. You know what you. I guess you got. You know, I don't know. I guess for lack of a better term, you know what I mean. You gotta pick your battles, right? You know what I mean? And at the same time, you gotta be respectful. But you know, if it's flagrant disrespect back, then you know what, man? It's just best not to acknowledge it because it ain't gonna do no good. You don't know what side of the bed somebody woke up on one day, man, and then people try to bait. That's it. A good example, you had that troll on last month, right? He came on and exposed himself and was giving you the game. I kind of catch that live on the replay, and I thought that was admirable of a dude who's in college, who has nothing better to do but to get online and try to get a rise out of people. You know what? And that was probably one of the more real spills from a subscriber, just calling in and just saying, hey, look, man, you know what I mean? And when you asked him, what can you do to curtail all this? He goes, just don't bite. That's the whole point. And people trying to get you out of character. At what point does it do for anybody? At what point does it do for anybody, though, to try to get you out of character when we're online? You know what I mean? When we're online. I mean, you know, it gets pretty scary and pretty. It just gets rough, man, and this shit just ain't worth it. Subscribe to who you're going to subscribe to, follow who you're going to follow, man, and you know, leave your continue to do you and yours.
Yeah,
whether that's negative, whether that's opinionated, whether that you hate me, you hate Flacco, you hate everybody, or we're all full of shit. Hey, God bless us, you know what I mean? Because that shit don't mean nothing to me no more. I don't need to prove anything to anybody. You know what I mean? And I tell Flacco this stuff all the time. You know what I mean? It is what it is. People are going to hate whether you're the president. People are going to hate whether you're a fucking general. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Not everybody's going to be your cup of tea, and you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. But at the same time, if people look at what you're doing, right, and they see, and this includes myself, if I stop hearing what I want to hear and hear everything all the way to the end, my opinion changes, and I look at things a lot different.
There's a couple times, right, where certain subscribers have commented and they've gotten stuff really close to what it is on certain things at times, man, which kind of shocks me. But then they always overstep more. They never think, you know. Sometimes people have certain images of certain things, right, and they have certain view of how they perceive someone. Or other people, and sometimes they would never think that some of the most heinous or fucking, you know, scandalous moves are being done by certain peoples at times, man. And it's just a shame that sometimes you got to sit there and, you know, like for me, I feel like personally, I've had to defend myself a lot this year by myself. You know what I'm saying? When you know what I'm saying, by myself on some shit, and that just to me it was always a red flag. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I'm not no dummy. You know what I'm saying? We're not no dummies. You know what I'm saying? We do our proper R&I as well on all this stuff too. And but like I said, sometimes it's better to let people know, but just kind of leave it alone sometimes. You know what I mean? You know, it's just like the video I dropped yesterday. I wasn't gonna put none of that shit out there. You know what I'm saying? About the false fucking order, the alleged false, the fucking basically a fucking false lie, right? Unless that person got it from some other individual that was fucking on the lie. I don't know. But that's where it came from, that was passed on the links. You know, so sometimes I have more in my back pocket that I don't want to use because it's not there to be put out there. But when you start to attack certain things, man, it's gonna make you want to clap back. You know what I'm saying? And see, YouTube's a popularity contest too. You could be fucking dead wrong, and still motherfuckers they'll still not hold that person accountable because that they have a liking for him, but then someone else does something minimal but they don't like that person and they'll go in on it. It's like there's different layers to things. There's basically a lot of favoritism that occurs on YouTube as well. You know what I'm saying? So you really got to play your cards a little bit It's basically prison politics being played on YouTube, bro. There's no other way to look at it, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so sometimes you got to play back. Sometimes you got to sit there, maneuver, and put all your fucking ducks in a row just to make sure that you have everything fucking ready to go. And you know, I don't like to play like that. I'd rather just come on here, just do my content. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I'm vocal and I stand up for what's right, or I stand up to shit. And not everybody always likes that. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I've always been, though. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind being the person that nobody likes, or being the fall guy for something that needs to be said. And it doesn't mean that I'm always going to be right, but if I have a certain belief, I'm not going to run from that belief system. If I feel something is wrong, I feel a hypocrite in myself not to say something. You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of struggle. That's the kind of struggle you can kind of experience on YouTube as well, man. You know, but it gets interesting, bro. I'll say that. I'll say the least. It gets interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, God forbid you forget a situation from a spill, right? I mean, classic examples is stories written by a current prisoner. I know a lot of the dudes, you know, that we personally know, they drop spills and stuff on there, and you know, you're only allotted a certain amount of time. And when you're not used to doing all this, you know, interviews and talking about your life, you can't do it in an hour or two or in 2 or 3 parts. You're not going to remember every intricate detail. Just like there's just certain things, man, that come up with other people's stories, or a name will come up, right? Someone that you and I will know, and they'll hit me up in the comments or on IG like, hey, man, you know, I've been watching this and that, and remember this, or you left out this part, you forgot about that, or hey, what happened? And then I'll forget, and then I watch people get crucified. Oh, you didn't tell the truth, you fucking lie. Well, how did I lie, man? It's like you can't remember every single thing. I mean, I got a memory like an elephant, like the rest of you guys do, but man, every little thing I can't forget. You got to remember, a lot of the stuff was bad, so I block it out. But yeah, I see people get crucified for that all the time, man. But it's just, you know, it ain't about changing the story. Changing the story is completely saying, no, it didn't happen like that. Like with Vanilla Ice and Suge Knight. 1 minute he's getting on TV saying he was held over the balcony and he had to wear a diaper, and then later on when they interview again, oh no, the story was misconstrued. I was, you know, they put words in my mouth. The video don't lie. You know what I mean? You completely change the story, but that's not what happened. But people tend to jump on that if you leave a couple of things out, or if you leave or if you got, hey, oh, that person was there, or this situation happened, or okay, maybe it wasn't 2009, maybe it was 2007, or the end, or whatever. Yeah. I mean, when you got 30 years in the system, or in my case, 20 years in the system, man, I can't remember every little thing that happened. You know what I mean? Throughout my time, only the big stuff I remember. And then, like anything else, you're human. You go with one memory, and that opens up a door to and then you start, oh yeah. It happens to people all the time, man. You know, and is it right? No. Is it wrong? People will argue, hey man, it's a platform, I could give my opinion. And then, you know, then you got to remember also that this is a public platform. This isn't private. And like I said, man, am I perfect? I'm not perfect at all.
I'd be seeing some shit though sometimes. Some of these comments, I'd be like, where the fuck did you get this from? Like, where did you like, you know what I mean? It's like you can get really irritated and frustrated real too quick, but you know, but at the same time, I don't let it frustrate me. I clap back more now though. I'll be like, you know what? If you don't like it, get this different. I'm tired. You know what I mean? If you're that unhappy or you got something to say, you know what I'm saying, then leave. You don't need to pop in. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes your opinion really don't matter to me. I hate when people put an opinion in. I hate when people put an opinion in an authoritative way, like they're telling you what you have to do. It's like, man, hold on, man, who the fuck are you? You know what I'm saying? You can sit there and say my opinion, but when you sit there and say and talk shit, well, get the fuck on there. You know what I'm saying? That goes for anybody, because you know what I mean. There's a way to go about giving constructive criticism about things, which is appropriate. You know what I'm saying? Just like, you know what I mean? And that's what people fail to realize. If people come respectful, you're not going to have a reason to sit there and either hide or block them. If you come at me disrespectful, you got to go. I don't have to have you on this platform. You don't have me allowing you to comment on this page. That's up to me. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're sitting there and don't agree with something, I'm not going to block you. And you come at me respectfully, and you're not trying to push your belief system or what you think on me, I'm not going to say nothing. You know what I'm saying? I don't go on other channels and talk shit and fucking in the comments and this and that. Nah. You know what I'm saying? And everybody goes through it though. All channels get these little people who fucking think they're bigger than what they are. You know what I'm saying? And that will comment. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes there's things that are valid in these comments that people call out. There's a proper way to go about it, man. And you know, professionalism goes a long way in common courtesy. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to respect someone, but show common courtesy because it leaves you out from having to be attacked by others, man. You know, but sometimes
Okay, so people got the
like me and you were talking, right? And we're talking about, you know, I don't want to say what, right? But about how people, because of they think of someone, right? Like that they've been in the mix, man. They haven't even been in a GP yard. You know what I'm saying? People don't realize, you know what I'm saying? They don't, and yet they're going to speak on certain things that they have no knowledge of. You know what I'm saying? And,
or they weren't a gang member, you know,
they weren't a gang member.
They weren't active on the street, or they were, you know, they lived a completely different life, and you know, those opinions, I respect those opinions, you know, because people say all the time, man, how could you? It's like, okay, well, you know what I mean? There's things that, you know what I mean? That's how you know the world doesn't revolve just around you and your family. There's a big world out there, and you never know what's going on next door to you, right? It goes to that old saying, you know, you just be careful, mind your P's and Q's, and like I said, this lifestyle ain't for everybody. This genre ain't for everybody. These channels aren't for everybody. And the common sense thing to me, I don't want to say it frustrates me, but it gives me one of those shaking my head moments like I'm doing now, is if you don't like it, man, turn it off.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Go to something else. Go watch. You know, there's plenty of things that you could do on YouTube. But then again, that's my opinion. That's how I look at it. That's how I conduct and carry myself. I get on the lives, I show my support. I sit back and watch. If it starts to get too frivolous or it gets too way out for me, I change it. But I'm not going to go leave an opinion of hate or anything.
Speaking of lives, we're going to go live tonight. I think Toko's going to jump on. I think my wife's going to jump on too. We're going to be on live tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are you going tonight or are you going to be home?
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay. Okay. So for the viewers out there, maybe about between 7 and 7:30, we'll do a live. My wife's going to jump in. Toko will jump in. We may have some other people jumping in. You know, try to have a fun time on here. Is there anything you want to add to this content before we end this?
No, man, just everybody that's behind the scenes that leaves comments or leaves stuff on Flacco's IG or my IG, man, that's respectful. You guys know who you are, man. It's much appreciated. You know, it really is, you know, and sometimes
it is.
You know, we have to be talked down on the. I am exposing, you know what I mean? I'm fucking exposing the fifth wall here, talking about shit I shouldn't be talking about. But sometimes those comments, man, and the stuff that you guys see when you see these videos or see these lives or see stuff going on, the encouraging words I'm talking about that you leave, and you know who you are. Sometimes it can mean talking somebody off a ledge or not, really, especially with the way times are and how things are constantly changing. You know, being out a few years, I try to stay positive, man. You know what I mean? I'm on that tip too with the raza and the brown people and the minorities coming together, not making ourselves look bad, you know, and like I said, regardless how you feel about me, if you don't like it, man, cancel it out. Don't watch it. Don't look, right? Go find somebody else. I'm not, you know what I mean? To me, I don't care about the followers. I don't care about the subscribers. As far in a sense, when I say that, as far as how many I have, the real ones always stick around. You know what I mean? I was part of something that was far few and in between, and we were always outnumbered. And that's the same way it is in my regular life now as a civilian and a taxpayer, man. You know, I don't roll with what's popular. I roll with the few and the proud and the chosen ones that I can count on one hand, man, because I learned my lessons a long time ago about what my downfalls are, my shortcomings. And I work on those motherfuckers every day. And the last thing I'll say this is that, you know, it's appreciated, good or bad. I'll just say that too. That's appreciated because it shows that
definitely
everybody, and it was, you know what I mean? And the bottom line is it's what makes this country great. You could have differences of opinion, but the real test is if we can come to some type of medium ground where we could agree to disagree but still respect one another. That's the main thing, man. All this shit would go away. But it's hard, you know, when you're used to bad mouthing people and tearing each other down. It's what we're raised with. It's what we grew into. You know what I mean? And it's hard to break that cycle. But like they always say, man, the cycle starts with you. So I just try to lead by the example. And in no way was this a negative spill. This was just two vatos from the old school giving our opinions and
it's just raw and real, man.
All the shit that comes out raw and real. That's it, raw and real. You know what I mean?
I mean, we
Boys
could went
to
into
men, or felons
if
to
we
men,
spoke if we spoke our
it.
opinion on some things right now, there'd be some hurt feelings right now. If we spoke our opinion on some shit, there'd be some hurt feelings, but we're not going to do that. But check this out. You can see more of me and Toko together on Felons to Men podcast. It's a little bit different, a little bit more about, you know, life-changing things, about paroling, adjusting to the streets and whatnot. With that said, appreciate you, Toko. And we're going to record Felons podcast in a little bit. But check us out on live tonight at 7:30. We're on 7 to 7:30. We should be going live as well.
Stay tuned for Flacco's new channel, man. Flacco's Tacos coming soon.